Hey, yo, what's up? This is Rick Thorne. Welcome to the Rick Thorne Show. On this episode, I got the very talented Joe Jimenez. He's a drummer, a skateboarder, and a stand-up comedian. He's multi-talented. He's a super cool dude. I'm going to call him right now. Let's do this. So what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Pretty good, man. Yeah, no complaints. Just same old shit, which is good for me. That means nothing crazy has happened. Yeah, I don't know. Enjoying life, man. Things are going well.
First off, everybody out there, I want everybody to know you are like what I like most about you is you're a multi-talented dude. You do all kinds of stuff. You don't stick to like
Yeah,
just one
trying.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So well, I met you back when you were in the Kill Tony days.
Yeah, for sure. At the comedy store.
Yeah, at the comedy store. Yeah. And so it was like, and then I found out that you skate and then you're in a band and you obviously you do comedy. And so I just wanted to cover everything, get more people to get to know about you and like just, to talk about your band and just, just I guess I'll start off with like you're a skater, right? Did you grow up
Yeah,
skateboarding all the time?
for sure. That was probably my first love, man. Yeah. That was before everything else was skateboarding.
Yeah. What did you skate mostly?
Um, I pretty much everything. It was kind of hard to find transition out here because it was like there weren't a lot of skate parks when I was a kid, they opened one that was like a temporary skate park in Glendale, which is like 15 minutes from me. They had a mini ramp. And that was like the first time I ever got onto like a ramp. But before that it was school tables, benches, stairs, things like that.
So
Just
wait,
by
where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Frogtown, like Northeast LA by Dodger Stadium.
Oh,
So
okay, got it.
it's like down the hill from Dodger Stadium on the other side of the hill from Echo Park.
Frogtown in the house. What was it like growing up skating in Frogtown? Was there a lot of gangs and stuff?
Yeah, it used to be it was a little more gnarly than it is now. It's definitely like gentrified and completely changed. I was maybe one of six, seven kids that skated, and like the neighborhood's kind of split up into two halves. So we got Parkside and Churchside, and I was maybe one of two on my side of the neighborhood, and then there was a group of like five or four on the other side, and sometimes we'd hang out. But yeah, it was cool, man. Skateboarding was not cool when I was a kid, so it's weird to even grasp that now with how
Yeah,
mainstream it is. You would get made
absolutely.
fun of, all that. I mean, I remember this like I was skating these stairs. I grew up a block away from this rec center. I was skating these stairs, and this like cholo kid came up to me and was like, "Hey, man, you didn't hear? Skateboards are out, bikes are in." And I was like,
Oh, is he
"What is?"
talking BMX?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
he's
for
trying to
sure.
punk you, bro.
I was like, what's funny is like when you're a kid, the skateboarders kind of they hated the rollerbladers, but the bike guys were always cool. We're like, that's cool. I dig that.
Yeah.
I would build fucking the jankiest jump ramps in front of my house. I used to like jump my bike and stuff like that. Never got like super good at it, but I was always a fan of like getting air.
You know, it's even crazier to back up even before, because I'm a little older than you. Before there was scooters and inliners that the skaters didn't like, it
Yeah.
was the bike riders. So,
Really?
well, not really so much where I was raised in the Midwest in Kansas City, so we all got along. We were all freaks. But in
Yeah.
the 80s, I'm talking like the 80s, and so we would always joke and we would be like, "Oh, we're finally accepted by the skaters. Thank God to the scooters and the inliners.
Man.
Now
Oh
they
wait, there
like
we
us. Now they like us."
was
Just
my
kidding.
mic working all right? Because I just turned up my thing.
It was working right, but now it's
All
working
right,
even
great.
better. Yeah, now it's
All
even
right,
better.
great. Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But
Um,
yeah, it's funny because it's like we all do the same stuff, it's just a different instrument. You know what I mean? You know what I found out? A lot of dudes that skated rode bikes too. That's why I never
yeah.
understood like what the big problem was. Because I tried skateboarding and bro, I got speed wobbles and bounced out.
Ah,
You know what I mean?
really?
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, but that's in the 70s. I was like, this isn't for me. But so
Yeah,
do you
that's
think
interesting. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Okay.
No, no, it's cool. I don't mind talking about that. Those days were cool, but I want to make this about you. Do you think that skateboarding helped you stay out of trouble?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think skateboarding kind of set me up for life. I mean, you you skate, you watch these videos, the videos have this music in it, and that music kind of whatever it is, punk, all that, it shapes your politics and your worldview and like um I don't know, opens up creativity. I mean, you must know this as a BMXer. It's like you'll never look at architecture the same. I don't think
Oh, no,
we look
never.
at stairs, anything like that, like anybody else. So it just kind of like opened up my mind. And I was never good at team sports. So that was like really good to have that independence and be able to go have fun on my own. And Same with stand up now, you're just up there by yourself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for sure.
I want to get into stand up too and compare the two because people always
Yeah.
ask me. But you're right about skating. You see a ledge, like you'll be out of town or you go somewhere new and you like see a ledge and like you
Yeah.
just look. The first thing you do is like, I want to grind. Like, what can I do on that thing? It's like it's no one knows unless you do what we do, right? It's like
Yeah, for
crazy.
sure.
You
Yeah,
see
for everybody
something,
else, it's just stairs or
yeah,
a bench. Yeah.
yeah. It's their perception, which is awesome. Which I love the fact that okay, so you skated. Did you also play music at the same time, or did that come later?
That came later. I got my first drum kit like Christmas, the year I turned 14. So that was like, but I was always that kid drumming on tables, and teachers fucking hated me. My mom said like the babysitter used to like pull out the pots and pans and let me hit stuff. So it was a very natural. When I got my drum kit, I was like, "Oh, this is it." And then that was the goal from 14 till I was maybe 20 or whatever. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be like a punk rock drummer. That's gonna be my shit. And I was super inspired by Byron from Pennywise and all that. Those were like, or Trey Cool, all that shit. What was like, that's what I would like play in my headphones constantly. My poor neighbors, man. I was probably really bad for a long time, man. My mom, I've told this story a million times, but she used to bake like brownies and coffee cake and shit for the neighbors so they wouldn't call the cops or get bummed on us because we were,
Oh, really?
yeah, too loud for no fucking reason. Zero talent, all heart.
And so
Which is also,
she'd be like, "Don't get mad. Here's some brownies. Cause we're
yeah,
cool,
yeah.
right?"
Like, let's smooth this out. Yeah, but that's like um, yeah, man. All that skating punk, all the like sort of just energy, no skill, but like wanting it and believing in it, and I don't know. I was a true believer in the punk thing, and I still am. It's that has also changed my life in a big
Yeah,
way. I'm sure you feel the same.
yeah, absolutely. Well, the reason I brought up the music and the skating together is because I noticed in BMX there's a lot of people that do both, but
Yeah,
we don't really have a thing that's titled like BMX punk, or like skate punk, like that kind of thing, right?
gotcha.
And
Yeah,
it seemed like a lot more skaters were into punk rock and starting bands than the bike riders were, or if bike riders did, there wasn't as many. And so I was always influenced by everybody and then just got to know more people. And so what I'm saying is that I through the years, I noticed that a lot of people do both. And it's kind of like one helps the other. Do you
for
ever feel
sure.
that way?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's all yeah, I mean, dude, all those the early Tony Hawk video games, I mean like all that the music and that, yeah, they're all fucking bed buddies, man. All of it's together. It's kind of it's a trip. Yeah, we did this my band played this like art show, like a punk photo art show thing, and we were getting interviewed after, and I realized that like I have been a part of that culture for forever. I'm 36 now. It like punk and all that shit probably started for me with like Dookie, and then it's just been a constant throughout my life. So it's always been there, man. Yeah, I love it.
So for you growing up, the way that you saw sports and punk rock was like you saw it on TV.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, for the
When I
most
was,
part, right?
yeah, X Games was kind of new. I feel like, or it was still like kind of hard to catch. I didn't know we didn't have like the TV guide or whatever. So I didn't, you would just kind of like on a Saturday be flipping channels and you'd see, that's another thing. I would see fucking the dirt jump or whatever. You see dudes like Todd Lyons and
Oh yeah,
Trevor,
Todd.
Trevor Meyer and Dave Mira.
Yeah.
You would watch whatever it was that was on. And yeah, man. Also, like GT bikes was felt like it was so big in the like Latino community, like BMX, like
Oh, cool.
GT Dyno was like the shit. And then I remember getting I would get like BMX magazines too, and like I wanted a Fat Boy when I was
So did you want to
little.
so you wanted to ride bikes before skating
Um,
or
I
both at
think
the
they
same
were I
time?
think they were all kind of at the same time, but maybe bikes first because I didn't really know I didn't have access to skateboards. I think bikes they're around because they weren't they're older than skateboards were.
Yeah, and they're easier. Well, the thing about bikes, one advantage is that you could travel a lot further quicker,
For sure.
and so that's
Yeah.
why I got into it, is to get out of the house and just go as far as I can, like,
Wow, wild.
But Yeah, but it's cool you know all that. So I didn't know you knew all the stuff about GT, and you threw up Trevor
Yeah.
Meyer. Like I haven't heard that name in so long. So
Yeah,
you
I
know
remember I saw
what's up.
Todd Lyons rode for Huffy, and I remember I watched one dirt jump competition he had, and he like snapped the frame. He
Oh
did
yeah.
like some flip something and the frame snapped where the fork is. And I had an uncle who worked at a chroming plant, and so I would get these like shitty old bike frames and he would chrome the forks. And like I remember getting like a GT sticker pack and making like a bootleg GT bike.
Oh,
um
sick.
yeah, I didn't have the money to get a real one, so I just had this, but it was sick. It was like a shitty bike that was chrome, so it looked nice, and I threw the stickers on it. And I remember people trying to like press me and be like, "The serial number on GTs is right here, yours isn't there," and I was like, "Fuck, man."
That whole
Um,
serial number thing. Oh,
Crazy.
show your
I
number
got a
right there.
dyno. I got a dyno bike for my birthday one year, and I remember I tried to bunny hop up this two stair, and the tire just landed right on the edge of the stair and just
Ah,
completely popped. And
buzzkill.
then my dad didn't fix the tire for probably forever. I think that was it with the bike. That's
So
what I like
you
about skating too. Easier to fix, easier to handle on my own. I don't know how to fucking I don't. I think I could probably do it now, but changing a tire on a bike when I was a kid was like
dude, it's a mission. I'll tell you right now, even when I still get a flat to this day, I'm like, really, dude, this is a drag.
it's a bummer.
The thing with BMX, it's different than skating is we just have a lot more components. I mean, what do you
Yeah,
got? You got wheels, trucks, bearings, uh,
that's it.
board, grip
Bushings.
tape, bush.
Yeah,
It's like, and it's easier to carry, and it's kind of like, and you could do it everywhere. But BMX is still kind of punk rock to a degree where you're wanted, but you're not wanted. If that makes sense. Like, yeah, we're
yeah,
cool with you, but don't ride here, kind of thing.
yeah. I
Um,
remember seeing like the pegs would like fuck up certain things or whatever it was just by the nature of the machine. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I've dealt with that for so many years, and but my perception of like us as a unity was, because I'm a little bit older than you, but like in the mid '80s, you're going to high school, and punk rock's like so underground that the BMX and skaters stuck together because we were
Yeah,
all the freaks, and we were
for
like,
sure.
and then there's the football players,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and now my son's a football player,
Wild, dude.
hardcore one, and
That's what
fucking
happens.
he's fucking awesome at it. I'm all
I've
about
seen
it.
some of the
I'm all
footage, man.
about
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast.
See,
But
that's
that's
what's
cool.
cool. You're
Yeah.
supportive of your kid, whatever they're gonna do. I think that we've also learned that from like maybe some of our not my I've had very supportive parents, but friends of mine, their parents didn't want them skating, they didn't want them playing music, shit like that. But since we've seen that, our friends are having kids and stuff, you're noticing a lot more support and just
Yeah.
backing them in whatever it is they want to do.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this much real quick on about kids is that like I also too sometimes have to stop myself and realize that my kids aren't necessarily like me, meaning
Mm,
that like we're all different. Not that they
for
don't have the
sure.
characteristics, but I may be a bit more aggressive about things, but also too my age, and I realize how much longer am I going to be alive? I got to, like how much longer can I ride? I'm always thinking that way. That's what pushes me to keep going. And you
Yeah.
got to remember that your kid, and I have to remind myself that you want them to push them, but they have time to figure things out. Everyone's going to figure out what they want to do at a different pace. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
For sure.
But as a
Yeah, yeah.
parent, I see all these football dads and moms, and their quest is to use football to get their kid a scholarship. And I'm like, that's cool, but is your kid having fun along the way?
Yeah, for
Is a
sure.
scholarship the be all end all of happiness? Like, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's weird balance you got to have.
Well, we've seen like the alternative paths, so we know that it's not just whatever everybody's telling you to do. There
Right.
there is, go to college, do this, fucking get married, have kids, all this. It's great if that's what you want, but yeah, if it doesn't make you happy, it isn't the only way to do anything.
Yeah. There's a philosopher, Alan Watts, and he talks about that. And he has this one, I'll send it to you. It's this one,
Cool.
he talks about like, if you're always waiting for this next thing, you're always waiting for this next thing. And then you go to college and then you graduate and you get your job and you wake up like and you're 35 and you're 40 and you're selling insurance and you realize not much
Oof,
changed because
man,
you didn't enjoy the ride.
for sure.
So
Yeah,
that's
Jeff
that.
Ross always says that with stand up. He says enjoy the process.
Who does?
Jeff Ross.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I've heard
That's
him
right. He does. Yeah. Oh, I love him.
tell
Yeah. Yeah.
multiple people that, yeah, so it's like yeah, you got to stop and fucking smell the roses every now and then, man. I've been trying to do
Yeah.
that more and more now, man. The older I get, I'm 36, but it's like it's it starts to fucking kind of close in on you, and you have to pick your moments and really like appreciate what you have
Yeah.
every day, man.
Yeah, well, I think we get caught up with wanting more. Do you ever feel that way?
Yeah, I mean,
Not in a greedy way, but
no, for
we're in an
sure.
industry where it's like okay, sorry to cut you off, but like this show's gonna end. What's
Hmm.
next? Do you
Yeah,
ever feel that way?
a little bit too much. Yeah, but now I'm starting to. There are a couple of friend groups I have or whatever, or being with people where like I'm actually present with them and I'm not. But yeah, I get into that too, where I'll be even with my best friends and be like, just thinking about, oh, I got to go do this thing later. But it's also that, dude, I dropped out of high school, man. I'm fucking, I chose this path that is, I do have to work twice as hard as everybody else. Maybe not in comedy because your degrees don't really matter, but like, I don't have a lot of options as far as like work. So I am, no safety net. I have to fucking I've started to every set that I'm doing now, or every when I'm playing drums, I'm trying to act like my life depends on it, and not in like a fucking toxic way, but like it kind of
Yeah.
it does, and I might as well die up there instead of like, get rich or die trying, not get rich, but like do the thing or die trying, because that there's not any other real options for me. I like that, but it can be scary.
Does it push you?
For sure. Yeah, I think so. I think when especially lately, man, I've had a bit of a mental shift now working at the store and realizing how close it is. I mean, a lot of you know, I've been doing stand up 11 years. And back when I started, I never thought I would be at the store. And I always wanted to be a store guy. And now I'm a door guy there. And um, watching my friends get past, I realized like, oh, I'm in the arena. Like this is a possibility as long as I don't squander this. If I don't fuck this up, I can have this. I just got to
Right.
keep doing it. And so it's motivating, but it's scary. And whatever. I'll just trying to make good choices, man. I just quit drinking like 9 months ago. So like trying to not self-sabotage because I definitely do that. And I don't know, trying to keep my head on straight, man. Be
So you
grateful.
say self-sabotage, you mean like in a way to where like you feel like you're not gonna get there or you're afraid of success or a
Possibly,
little
yeah.
bit
I
of
think
both.
I think I think I'm afraid of success. I think eh, I'm afraid of a certain type of success. There are comics where I really appreciate their careers. Like they can they're they're working, they're popular, but they can go to the market and fucking nobody knows who they are. And I
Right.
would I would I would like that.
Oh, you
But
like that kind of like instead of like the fame of like walking down the street, everybody's like, oh God, it's Joe, what's up?
yeah,
You wouldn't want
yeah,
that.
I like maybe like small fame. I mean, with Kill Tony, it was sick. Like I still get recognized at the store for shit like that. That I like. I'll get fist bump, picture, all that stuff. It's great. I will never be bummed that somebody cares about the things I've done. But like fame kind of scares me because I know that if I'm given everything I've ever wanted, that my brain is the devil, and I'll figure out a way to to fuck it up.
You mean the pressure.
The pressure, yeah, because the pressure would lead to me probably doing drugs or something to deal with the pressure, and then becomes an everyday occurrence, and then now fucking you're fat and fucking dying, and your body's giving
And
out
you're
on you
alone
because
and shit.
yeah, we know
Dude,
people like that too,
it's a hard balance. I know some people like that. You would say, "Hey,
for
this guy's
sure.
got everything." And it's like they got money, but you could just look at their face. You never look at someone's face and you see
Of
their
course.
mouth downwards when they're sitting still. That means they're unhappy as hell because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
their disposition inside. Um, I get it, bro. I've dealt with that stuff too. You know, learning how to deal with it and who your friends are and
for sure.
who, you know what I mean, and who like but it makes you stronger. My whole story is I went through a lot, and what I've learned at least is that like, if you're doing things because you love them, and if that comes along, that fame comes along with it, learning to adjust to deal with that is a different kind of monster. Because I
Mhm.
would always say like getting there is one thing, and then keeping it is another. You
Mhm.
know,
No,
and the
yeah, for
pressures of
sure.
keeping that name because now people expect out of you. So when people expect out of you, that's where the pressure comes in, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
man, wild.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you're
that
so you're afraid of
maintaining.
more of that. Yeah.
I think so, but I mean, I think that yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm not really afraid because I don't really know, but it's just the unknown. It's why it's just kind of crazy to think about the unknown. Yeah. I don't know if it's fear or just not knowing,
Are
you
there a
know.
lot of comics like that though? You think that like you say, and everyone out there, Joel also does comedy. And when he talks about the store, he's talking about the comedy store.
Yeah.
Because people might not know. But check it out. Are there comics like that that like have like because I've been doing comedy for 5 years now, and I know all you guys, and I get the industry. It's not rocket science. I'm figuring it out and finding my way. Are there comics like that that like uh are popular within the comedy world, but they're not super big names? Are there a
Yeah,
lot of
for
comics
sure.
like that? There's a lot like
Yeah,
that,
there's a
right?
lot, and there's a lot of like really well accomplished comics. I mean, like I like first comes to mind is like Eddie Pepitone. He's like
Yeah,
he's big. I mean, he's respected. He's a great comic, but I don't. But you could say that name to 10 people, and maybe five of them know, five don't.
got
Um,
it.
dude, I would even say on a huge level, Russell Peters is kind of like he's like worldwide, like made the Forbes list of like millionaires, and I think he could probably drop in on some market and like maybe some people wouldn't know who he was, you know.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but
Well, no, you
also one
got
of
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Dana Gould, who was like a writer for The Simpsons, he's like one of my favorite comics, but I think he could probably walk around town and maybe somebody would be like would spot him, but yeah, that to me is like would be ultimate success. But also I'm an attention whore, so I do there is something cool about Joel, what's up? I do love that also, but
Yeah.
I don't know if my brain could handle it constantly.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's a lot of pressure to carry because then everything you do and say is under a microscope, and that's where things get weird.
For
Um,
sure.
but I mean, but I mean, you know where you want to go. I personally think that you're extremely funny. I think you're one of the funniest guys that I know. I
Dang,
love your
thanks.
style. I love your delivery, and I could see you blowing up, bro. I could see it
Man,
happening. I could
yeah,
see you getting
wild.
past at the store. I could see you getting past at the store. And
Yeah, for sure.
people listening, could you let the people know what that means? Because they probably don't know listening.
Yeah,
Some
so
might.
if you get passed at the store, it's you become a paid regular. You the biggest thing is you get your name on the building, and that's forever, man. That's like history.
Yeah.
Um People that have been passed, I mean people that were door guys that got passed were like Jim Carrey, Mark Maron, Robin Williams, Bobby Lee started there, Ari Shafir. There's it's kind of Ivy League of comedy is probably the best way to describe it. People hear door guy and they don't know what the fuck they think I'm just checking IDs or whatever, but it's kind of like a farm system to develop you into being a touring headliner. You get people's eyes on you. I mean, you get managers out of it, things like that.
And then you
And it's
get to
just, I mean, yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, no, you go. You go.
I'm just a history buff too, so and I'm from LA, so like the to me like the depth of what it means to be passed at the store is like really really heavy and a huge deal, and that's my next biggest goal, I think. I don't know if I'm ready, but I think it's like it's coming within the next few years. I'm definitely in the system. I want to put that out there. But
Yeah.
yeah, as
Absolutely.
long as I just keep working, man. Keep
Well, the
working
key
and
too is that you're funny.
yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Not everybody gets past just because they work there, right? I mean, you got to
for
have some
sure.
form of like appeal to an audience, right?
Yeah, appeal, work ethic. I mean, I think they want to see us trying new things, taking risks, which is really hard at a club like that because of of the gravity of it all. You never know who's in the room. I mean, people are buying tickets, so you want to give them a good show. So sometimes the new shit is maybe not gonna go over for a paying audience the way that maybe you would want your act to go over. So
Right.
there is a lot of pressure as far as like trying new things out there. So sometimes I'll do new things at other shows outside of the club so that when I come back, I'll have it a little more flushed out to try. But I don't know.
Awesome.
I'm getting more comfortable there now too. I've been at the club like 6 years. I mean, I did Kill Tony there about 5, and then I've been a door guy. I believe almost a year now. So
But that was
uh,
different because when you were in Kill Tony, you were on the show
yeah, yeah. I
as a
was just
performer, and so you didn't actually work there, or
mm-mm.
did you at the same time?
No, I didn't work there, and I would kind of get up on potluck every now and then, but uh yeah, I wasn't like doing spots there like I am now. Now I'm doing like multiple spots a week. And yeah, it's very different. But I've always felt for a long time I felt like part of the family there. And now it's
Right.
just official, you know.
And
Yeah, it's wild.
the comedy scene is like a family.
Yeah, yeah, it can be. Yeah, if you pick the right people to be around.
Yeah, and
You know,
that's where I want to get to. It's to me,
yeah.
it seems like it's kind of like bike riding and skating. What I mean by that is that it can be clicky. Like There's
Yeah,
this
for
group of
sure.
guys in this clique. There's this group of guys in this clique. It reminded me of like when we grew up and be like, oh yeah, the dudes in Iowa, they got their scene. The dudes in Texas
Uh,
got their scene.
uh-huh.
Everyone has their scene, but when we get together, we're cool, but we still are part of the scene. It seems
Yeah,
like that in comedy a little bit. Like you got these pockets, cliques of people,
for
but
sure.
you know, do you think that the Comedy Store still uh is one of the ways to be like a well-known comedian with the internet and stuff? Things it's definitely changed the game. And like back in the day, that's how it was, right? Like the only way to get known would have been like through the store, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I think
But
and
now do
this
you
is
think the
incense
internet?
too. I'm not smoking, just letting everybody.
Oh,
I'm
I don't
not
care.
I
I don't.
didn't like
No,
yeah,
I was like, he's lighting it up. Get it,
yeah.
son. No, I was
Nah, no
kidding.
way. I'd have a fucking panic attack on this shit.
I went on a show not too long ago, and it was about getting high. And I was like, I don't get high, and it was just a weird moment. But I just
Yeah,
did
for
still did the
sure.
podcast, but I'm like, I don't smoke really at all.
Um,
But
yeah, I think yeah, back in the day, I mean, people got saw at the store, and then they got Carson, and then Carson was like the thing
the
that
thing,
blew
yeah, yeah,
everybody up. I think for somebody who doesn't have a TV credit or a million followers online, being a door guy and working the system at the store is one of the only ways
right.
to do it on that level. There are a lot of other ways as well. I bet people figure it out, but yeah, I think it is for me at least. You know, it just means so much to me, man.
Yeah, it's a
And
law of attraction too, you know. I mean, the more you put yourself out there. I noticed though, I do notice that there's because I know Danny real well at the store. We
yeah,
met
love
through
Danny. Danny
yeah,
Dangerous.
yeah, Danny Ninja's the bomb. And we met at the Shamrock. I've known him for years.
Fuck
But
yeah.
it's
Shout
just
out to Mark Mahoney.
yeah, shout out to Mahoney. Oh, speaking of, you're gonna be tattooed up before you know it, bro.
Dude, I'm trying, man. Yeah, slow. You know, I always wanted to be tattooed. I caught on late, but now I'm like making up for lost
Do
time.
it. Do it. You only
Yeah.
live once, dude, if that's
Hell
your
yeah,
deal.
dude.
Yeah. But I would see like, you know, there are quite a people at the store still that get noticed for gigs and tours and stuff and to go, you know, and it's to take that what you built at the store and on tour. And then that's when people want to see you because you're like, oh, this is a Comedy Store regular. That's like that's a pretty valuable title to have as a comic, right?
For sure. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I
I
mean, that
think
helps you with the
that's
management and booking and stuff like that, right?
yeah, I feel yeah, if you're passed at the store, you're getting a like a huge cosign, you know. It's like being sponsored or whatever. You know, you ride for
Exactly. Yeah.
whatever company, they're like, oh shit, this guy's got a pass of some sort. But again, with the pressure thing, it's like, sure, you're passed, but what the fuck are you gonna do with it? Like, are you funny? Are you working? It's like,
Hmm.
you know, they say it about like a famous person, like say an actor wants to do stand up. Jerry Seinfeld said like you get maybe your fame gets you maybe 3 minutes up top where people are, oh, this guy's famous, we're excited to see him. And then those 3 minutes are over and people are fucking looking at you for the punchlines and you don't got it. It's a lot, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta do the work. I think there's a lot of justice in stand up because of that, because you're judged every 30 seconds or whatever it is, and you gotta have it, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because famous people think that they could go into something and they'll take their fame and they're going to get the same reaction that they got from like being in movies, you know. Or I mean, I had that starting a band, being a bike rider, and like I tried to say earlier, not many people had bands when I started a band in bike riding. So they're like,
Mm,
oh, I see, you don't want to compete anymore. Now you start a band, and
yeah.
then when I started comedy, it was like, oh, you're like a funny guy, and it's like, hello, they're all connected. They're
Yeah,
not.
for sure.
They're. It's not like it's, you know, and plus I made a list of things I wanted to do as a kid, and I'm just checking that shit off. You know what I
Wild.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
you
great.
learn, yeah, you learn how to do it. But some people, I get what you're saying though. What Seinfeld said is like, you think that you're going to get that reaction that you're not going to get. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's
Yeah.
did you? It must have been different though for you going because did you do stand up? Maybe it's not different, but I didn't. I don't know. I'm going to ask you.
Mhm.
Did you do stand up before you were in Kill Tony, or was Kill Tony like your first comedy gig that you had?
No, I was doing stand up like 5, 6 years when I got onto Kill Tony. I
Oh,
actually
okay,
went up
okay.
as a bucket pool
Oh, cool, cool. All right.
um a couple times, but I was friends. My buddy Pat Reagan, we were in a band together. I met him through open mics. We were just comedians like in LA, and he became the band leader on Kill Tony through like he used to do the warm up for roast battle, and one night he was like a he would sing funny songs, and he had a like a huge set. And I guess Rogan was there, Tony was there, Brian was there. He gave a CD to Tony. Tony listened to it. Tony loved it. Hit him up and was like, "Hey, I do this show called Kill Tony." We were still in the belly room. He said, "I want you to come be the band leader on my show." Pat went. Pat used to hit me up, be like, "You got to come to the store." I didn't have a license, so I would just roll with him, sign up, and then I didn't have a bass drum or like a kit small enough to fit up there because it's a tiny space upstairs. And I got like a literal children's toy drum kit and just replaced the heads. I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, I got a bass drum small enough. Let's do this." So he's like, "All right, come Monday." We became the band.
Awesome.
Jeremiah was part of it, and then I remember my first time as the drummer there. I fell in love with it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm like sinking my claws into this. I'm never leaving. I'm gonna stay here, figure out a way to make myself valuable, and I'm gonna stay until they throw me out." And I just kind of like kept showing up and kept doing my giving it everything, and ended up becoming a part of the show and then touring with them. And I got to go to all over the world and stuff. It's pretty wild, man.
That's awesome. And so the reason why you're not well, one of the reasons I would think is because you're not in that Kill Tony band anymore is because they
Yeah.
went to Texas and you
Yeah,
decided
they
to
went to
stay.
Texas. At the time and also now, I didn't see myself moving there. I know they had to move to keep the show alive. I mean, the show was always evolving. Um, and the pandemic, all that shit, a lot of stuff changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I went to visit recently. I'm still cool with everybody. It was great. I'm happy for them. Um, but yeah, so I was doing stand up about 5 years, and then that was like a hell of an education, man. To Because especially on the drums, sitting on the drums way back, watching why people bomb, watching why people do well, watching really famous comics as the guests give advice, shit like that. So I was just kind of like soaking it all up.
Yeah.
So that was like my a big part of my comedy education, you know.
Yeah, because you're like right there just taking notes and just
Yeah,
learning and watching and yeah,
low key
absorbing.
in the back, kind of, you
Yeah,
know.
there you
I mean,
go.
sometimes, but also I would say crazy shit on that show. But
Oh yeah, you were funny, bro. Come on. That's where I first met you. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're super funny. Um, what about the comedy mothership? What do you think of that? They got a is it have you been there?
Yeah, I
Did
was
you
there. What are
perform?
we? Yeah, I performed. Yeah, I did 2 shows there. My friend Brian Simpson runs a show there called Bottom of the Barrel. It's like a bucket. You pull out suggestions and you kind of riff on them.
Awesome.
I mean, dude, it's brand new. It's a beautiful club. It's like, you know, it's kind of it's hard to say anything bad about it because it's so like constructed with comedy in mind. You know, it's really great.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
never
I
been
have fun.
there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
It
You'll get
seems
out
like it.
there.
Yeah, I can't wait. I just followed online and I just figured I'd ask you because you know all those guys and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. So then you went from the band to now the door guy to
yeah,
now wanting to be past, which I think is
yeah.
going to happen. I do. I really do. I think it's gonna happen for
I
you.
do too. Yeah,
And I think you should
yeah,
prepare yourself and be ready for that because then, dude, then think of this. Once you're past, you're gonna be like a freaking touring comic and you're gonna be able to like make somewhat of a better living doing what you love to do. And that's kind of
yeah,
what the American dream's about, bro.
for
You know,
sure, man.
there is
Yeah,
an American dream, but you know what I mean? You
yeah,
know,
of course. Yeah, I get it. I get it. My dad's an immigrant, man. I watched it. You know, they own a house now. It's like, I've
you get it.
yeah, I get it, man.
You got to
I'm all
feed
for it
yourself, bro. You got to
for
eat. You know
sure.
what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So then this is the next question I want to lead to cover all the things that you do. So then Kill Tony ended, and so then now
mhm.
you're looking for a band, and then you started a band.
Yeah, yeah,
Tell us about Mad Peaceful, who's in it, and how
yeah.
it came about. Because your
Uh,
guys' band's awesome.
oh, thanks. Yeah, so what happened was I kept seeing these photos of this dude in a Black Flag jacket, and I was like, who's that guy? And then Jesse's my buddy Jesse, she's from Arizona. She knew him, and she was like, "You haven't met Chappelle? You got to meet Chappelle. Like you guys would love each other." And then I guess people were telling Chappelle the same thing, like, "Oh, you haven't met Joel? You got to meet Joel." And and then we met in a green room one day at like I think it was Brea Improv. We just ended up on the same show. And we met and we hit it off. I mean, we're in the dressing room just like or the green room just talking about music and stuff like that. And then the pandemic hit. Chappelle hit me up. He's like, "Hey, I want to like start a band. I want to do some cover songs." And I had buddies who had like a production, like it's a camera rental place in Echo Park, but they had that big room with like the white walls where people shoot music videos. So we were like, all right, let's get the troops together. We'll send a playlist out. Everybody will learn these songs. We did like Bad Religion, The Germs, Bad Brains, Black Flag, all the good shit, and Misfits. And during the pandemic, we met up in that room. We shot this thing of us playing covers, and the sound was so fucked up. We never were able to release it, but through that, we were like, oh man, let's start writing originals. So during lockdown and shit, I would send Chappelle like guitar ideas every day, and he would send me stuff. And then once things kind of started to calm down, we rented a rehearsal studio and we started kind of writing original songs. And I think it's been like a year or two now that we've been together. We recorded an EP and we have another one that's like on the way. And it's been cool. It's been really fun, man. I didn't want to be in bands ever again because you're wrangling cats and like you go on in
Yeah.
30 minutes and your bass player's an hour away and
Yep.
uh and I hated it. But now these dudes, everybody's responsible. We show up, we handle our shit. We're not around each other too much where we're like ever gonna get at each other's throats or like fighting. We're all very I don't know, we love each other, man. It's been a really positive, good experience, and I always look forward to playing with those guys.
Yeah. Well, also too, you guys are all comedians, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So me, I'm a stand-up. Chappelle's a stand-up. Ryan Clark, our bass player, is a stand-up. Chase, our guitar player, was a stand-up in Arizona. He knows Chappelle from back in the day. He doesn't do it anymore, but he's really funny. Chroma Chris was on Kill Tony. He was in a
Oh,
comedy group called the Chroma Keys, and but he's not really a comic, more of a guitar guy. But yeah, but we're all sort of like in that world. That's what brought us all together.
yeah. And the band is called Mad Peaceful, everyone out
Yeah.
there. And so I hate asking this question because it's so stupid, but I feel like I have to ask it because
Cool. Ask it.
people always go, "Hey, man, well, how do you ride your bike? Who do you ride your bike like?" It's like, what?
Yeah.
Who do you do stand up like? It's like
Yeah.
me. So I'll ask the question,
Yeah.
what kind of music you guys like? What style do you sound like? I hate that question. I
Oh,
hate it though.
us.
Yeah, you, because I
Yeah.
hate that. I'm saying
I
when
get
people
it.
ask you that shit, you're like, what? Like, but so what do you guys
Yeah.
sound like? What kind of style are you?
I would say we're a hardcore band with influences from like punk rock music. I mean, obviously it's all like incestuous, but I would say I mean every all those covers that we started out playing, but I came from the punk world, like Rancid, Pennywise. That shit was like my shit when I was Descendants, and so I'm kind of new to the hardcore thing. I liked a lot of those bands, but I wasn't like a hard. I wasn't like a hardcore kid. I was like a punk kid.
Got it.
Still learning about like Madball and fucking
Yeah.
we love Turnstile, all those like fucking I'm trying to think now. I'm blanking, but yeah, we're like a
Scowl's another one that's kind of
Scowl, yeah,
popular.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zulu, man. Great band. Like just heavy music that was influenced by punk and sort of like just within that culture, Black Flag, I mean Circle Jerks, all that shit was like my shit. I mean, to this day, I don't think I'd be playing music if it wasn't for the Ramones. I think that was probably the most
Yeah.
influential band in my life, they made me believe it was possible and yeah, to this day, man, I don't think I'd still be playing drums if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, and that's rad. I think there's the hardcore movement's kind of made this. It's kind of like that band Drain. It's another one.
Yeah, yeah,
And these bands and you guys and like Turnstiles, like hardcore's kind of made this kind of like uh, I hate to say the word mainstream, but it has. It's
yeah,
like a
yeah,
mainstream movement that it never had before.
yeah. Turnstile's doing now for hardcore what like Green Day and The Offspring did for punk in the '90s. Like they blew up, and then it opens this door for all these like bands to be seen. Um,
Yeah.
I heard like back in the '90s, I read the Bad Religion book, and they were saying like I think it was that like surfers would hit them up or whoever to like use their song for the video, and they knew back then like yeah, just have it, take it, because they
Yep.
knew that by giving it away it would bring like more eyes, more ears, and it ended up like working out for them.
Oh, dude, all of us were like that though. We would just use whatever.
For sure.
We wouldn't even
Yeah.
ask. It's
Yeah,
just
of
like,
course.
you'd have like AC/DC and there was no like no one was kind of there was no way to trace it. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah. What are you
digital.
gonna
Like,
one
yeah.
VHS somewhere? Like there was no,
I
yeah,
mean,
no
and being in a
footprint.
band, I wouldn't say do that because I'd be like, dude, come on, at least give me some credit here for my, at
Yeah,
least ask, you
we
know.
ask. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where like Pennywise, a lot of those bands got a lot of their fan base as well through the surf videos and through that surf culture because they were Hermosa, and
Fuck
they're
yeah.
also badasses. But um, they're amazing. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I was into hardcore. I was in the New York hardcore scene more,
Cool.
but I was also into like the straight edge scene for a little bit, and like it would go
Yeah.
through phases. But like I know what you mean. Like I was more of a fan of punk, but I was more of a fan of like Minor Threat or anything Ian McKay did because he
Yeah.
wanted to change, and like I was always trying to figure my shit out and wanted to get out of the situation I was in. So I was always
For
looking,
sure.
you know what I mean? People look for music for things, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like that can feed how you're feeling. And for me, I think that's music really brought that out in me at least. And
Yeah,
so
Minor Threat was a powerful band, man, as far as like finding solutions. And that was
yeah,
one of the only bands in high school that like even the drunk punks liked, even though they were straight edge. It was like you could not fuck with talent, man. They were like,
the drunk dude's
incredible
like, I
guys.
don't smoke, I don't drink.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah,
got straight edge. You're like,
I got
what?
straight
You're
edge.
holding a 40 right now. What is happening?
Dude, I used to bust tables at the Olive Garden at 18. Before I had tattoos, I had X's on my hands and I had a
Hell
shaved
yeah.
head. And I remember the manager coming over going, "Hey, Rick, check it out, bro. You're gonna have to take those X's off your hands." I was like, dude, straight edge, bro. He's like,
Yeah.
people think you're in a cult or something.
Yeah, I get it. And some could argue it has become that at times.
Oh
But I
yeah,
love
yeah.
it. I'm all for that positivity. I think it's great. I think that the straight edge thing is a lot better than some of the other shit people are getting involved in. It's
Yeah, yeah.
if I had
Well,
a kid who was straight edge, I'd say fucking go for it, dude. I
yeah,
love
just
it.
don't be preachy, bro.
Yeah, honestly, most of the guys aren't. Like the dudes who are really about it, they just live that shit. They're not like out there, fucking a bunch of our friends, they're vegans, hardcore, and they just kind of walk the walk. They don't judge. I've eaten meat right next to them and they don't give a fuck. They don't
Yeah, they
judge.
don't care. Yeah. I think back in the day it was more like, we're vegans, but I'm like, what's up with them Doc Martens?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck the system, but they're smoking cigarettes or drinking Pabst, and you're like,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
big.
Yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, things have changed a lot with punk rock and hardcore and stuff. I'm psyched for you. You guys got any shows coming up? Any tours coming up with the band?
Yeah, I think we're playing July 9th at Knuckleheads in Hollywood. That's gonna be like our first like LA gig because we play Fullerton a lot, Long Beach.
I gotta roll out. That sounds dope.
Everybody's
Yeah.
always like, when are you playing in LA? So we'll be fucking, yeah, I think it's on Santa Monica, right? Santa Monica. I
Yep.
don't know the cross street, but yeah, it used to be that bar Black.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know where it is. Yeah,
For
that's
sure. Hell
like
yeah.
I think the cross street would be like, I don't know what it is. It's
Uh
not like
uh is it Vine?
I
No.
think it's somewhere around there. Vine or like
Anyway.
not Wilton. Is it Wilton?
Highland.
Highland, something like that. Anyways,
Trejo's
look
Donuts is near there, yeah.
look it up. Hey, yeah, that's right. It is. I wanted to ask you this real quick, back up for a
Sure.
second. When you speak of like music and you're like, oh, it's different in a band because they could be chasing people around, or you're like, people are like, is there a back line? Is there parking? Do we get
Oh
drinks?
my God,
It's
yeah.
always something. Somebody's always got something, right? But with comedy, it's like you get the same kind of fix, what I realized for me, without all these other components. So we're
Yeah.
like, comedy's cool. When my band ain't playing, I'll do comedy. When I'm doing comedy, I'll ride my bike. When I'm doing ride my bike, I'll do this. So you're always doing
Mhm.
something. Do you feel the same way that like comedies in a sense is a lot easier and could be just as fulfilling as a band, but in a different way? Do you feel the
For
same way?
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you get that same itch scratched a little bit. It's even maybe deeper because when you're playing in a band, I'm just sitting back. I am expressing myself through the drums, but like when I'm
Yeah.
doing comedy, I'm really telling you who I am and where
Yeah.
I'm from and what I believe and things like that. So I think just by the nature of sharing your life's perspective, maybe frontmen like the singers get it like for you because you got your lyrics, you're saying what you think, but there is something about like sit down, listen to me, I'm gonna tell you what I'm about. um yeah, it all feels good, man. It's all like performing, it's all expression. um yeah, I think they're all one and the same, you
They
know.
are. I always tell
Yeah,
people like people always ask me like, oh, when I was comparing music to bikes, they'd be like, "Oh man, what do you like better?" I was like, "They're different feelings. Like BMX is a physical feeling because
yeah,
you're doing the tricks. It's a physical accomplishment. music is more kind of like, since you sing, it's like a deeper, like emotional thing. And then stand-up's like, stand-up makes everything better in my life
Mm,
because I'm able to engage with people better, talk to people
mhm.
better. I take that comedy into my set and my band, or into ads with my writing, and like, you know what I'm saying? Just it's a,
Yeah.
so I feel like stand-up, for me at least, stand-up's like the rawest, because people always say
Mhm.
that, but it helps you with everything else that you want to do. Do you feel the same way with that, or is it
Yeah,
just
no, I agree. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it's all. I think people uh that want to like pinpoint, like, well, what is it? It's like, well, I don't know. I like everything. I'm also, because like I said, it's like, as a dropout or whatever it is, I got so many swords in the fire. I'm trying to see, I'm trying to just sort of do everything I can to the best of my ability. So I think, yeah, they are all the same in a
Yeah, but you're
way.
gonna fucking make it even though you
Yeah,
dropped out of high school. You're
yeah.
gonna make it.
No, for
Now, I'm
sure.
not
Yeah, no, I'm
suggesting
not
any
worried about that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not suggesting anyone out there to drop out of school. I'm just
yeah.
saying
Don't
though,
do it.
but I'm saying though, you're gonna make it because you're multi-talented, you're a cool ass dude, and people like to be around people that are cool. I say it all the
Yeah,
time. Like, yeah, you could be good, but your asshole attitude's only gonna last so long, and people are gonna get sick of dealing with you,
for sure.
or your arrogance, your narcissism. It's just like, slow down a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, we've
Um,
all dealt with people like that. It's like, oh man, come on, just turn it down and you'll be all right.
Yeah, it's exactly, dude. Do you have any comedy sets coming up? Any shows with comedy?
I don't know, when does this come out?
Well, I'm gonna put this out in the next week. So
Okay, cool.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna I'm gonna
July
get
July 15th.
okay, because
July 15th, I'll be at the Well Comedy Club in Bakersfield. I'm featuring for my friend Jesse Johnson. So I'll be out there, Bakersfield. I know there's a lot of BMXers out there. Come see me.
yeah, dude, and that's a cool club, by the way. Have you been there before?
Okay. No, I've heard great things though, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
performed there a
excited.
couple times actually. It's actually
Okay, cool.
it's a cool spot. Absolutely cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
I
Well,
look
I'm
forward to it.
I'm stoked. Well, listen, can you drop? I love for people to get to know you, to follow you, what you're doing, your band, your comedy, everything. Can you tell people where to follow you on social medias?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my personal Instagram is at mostly sorry. I got a podcast I do at the Comedy Store with my friend Saul and Hormos called Dogs of Browntown. So at Dogs of Browntown on Instagram. I got a deep dive music podcast with Chappelle Lacey called Lesser Known Characters at Lesser Known Characters Pod. And I play drums in a hardcore band called Mad Peaceful. So at Mad Peaceful Band on Instagram. Check them all out. Check one out. Whatever you like, they're
I
there for
love it.
you.
I love it, dude.
Hell yeah.
You know what would be cool? Have you guys ever thought about, well, this might be cheesy. I don't know if it's cheesy. Mix the comedy with the music on your shows.
Yeah, I think we've been very adamant about trying to keep them separate.
Separate. Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
we respect the music so much, we don't want to use any sort of. We want to kind of like really respect it and be like a band when we're a band and kind of,
Yeah.
So who
Sometimes I
knows?
just
I don't know
thought
what
of
the
that.
future is.
Well, sometimes people hardcore kids might not want to be sitting here and listen to comedy. I mean,
No, I
people,
get it. It seems like a natural progression, but we'll see.
yeah, but I mean, they're together and you're
Yeah,
killing it. And I'm gonna see
for
you up
sure.
at the
Thanks, man.
store.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll see you soon, man. Thanks for
D-
having me.
Dude, I'm stoked. I'm glad that I mean, hey, I'm glad we're friends and we have a lot in
Yeah, me
common.
too.
And so hopefully we could do some more shows together. And everyone out there follow Jimenez. Did I get it
Yeah,
right? Did I get it
Jimenez.
right?
It's like
Him.
Jimenez, like
How the fuck did
HE.
I get it wrong again?
It's
I
fine. Everybody
practiced. No,
fucking.
I practiced it so many times.
You didn't say
Joel.
Jimenez.
Well, how do you say it again?
Oh no, Joel Jimenez.
Jimenez. That's what I
Yeah,
said.
you said Jimenez. Jimenez. Ibanez. Joel
Listen,
Ibanez.
I may have graduated school, but I flunked English.
You
Oh
speak it
wait,
fine. It
but
sounds
that's
great, dude.
Spanish though. I flunked Spanish. I didn't even take Spanish.
Yeah, you're. I failed Spanish and I speak it.
Damn. Yo, I was from Missouri, so like I took Spanish, and like at the time, no one was speaking Spanish,
Hilarious.
and I
Yeah,
just like didn't pay attention
yeah.
and failed it. So sorry, bro. That's why I call everybody dude,
That's great. Dude is fine.
because I'll never forget, dude. I'll never forget you, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. You got it.
Okay, much love, Joel. I'll talk to you
Hell yeah,
soon.
dude. Hell
All
yeah.
right,
Peace, man. Have a good
much
day,
love.
Rick.
You too.
Later.
Peace out.